the Lakers currently sit in the 8th spot, right? They are 38 and 38. They are tied with the Pelicans, a game or a half game ahead of the Thunder, and they are a half game behind the Timberwolves, who they play tomorrow, right? And that is a massive, huge game as the Lakers look to try to climb into that 7th spot for that home court going into the play-in, or ideally squeeze into that 6 or 5 spot. I think that'll be a little tough, but I don't think it's impossible. However, it does get hard when teams are clearly trying to make moves to put the Lakers in worse position, right? So you have the Denver Nuggets. Now, Jokic is not playing tonight against the Pelicans. Okay, guys miss games. But there's a multitude of reasons why this is just very suspect, besides other teams seemingly doing the same thing. But let's look at the results here, right? Now, Denver, they pretty much got the 1 seed locked up. They were on a 4-game winning streak. They did have a really rough stretch not too long ago, right? I mean, they had some just terrible losses to some bad teams, but have since turned it around. They're kind of coasting, and I get that. They're just kind of coasting throughout the season, but they're not that far ahead to where the Grizzlies can't catch them. But again, you only need to win like 1, maybe 2 more games the rest of the way, and you're good. Beyond that, you have the Joker, who is battling for MVP against Embiid. And Embiid is showing up. He is doing his thing. He is just balling night in and night out and trying everything he can to make a case for MVP. And there was a real argument for Joel Embiid to get MVP, right? Not just that, but all the other accolades and things like that Joker could get by playing this game. It is important. It is significant. But if you're Denver, who would you rather play? The Lakers, who just seem to have your number night in and night out and match up to you beautifully, and that most people think are going to beat you in the first round if you were to play them, or beat you, period. Or would you rather play the Pelicans? Not that the Pelicans can't be a good team. Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, they got some nice young pieces, Zion. But would you rather go up against the Pelicans, take a chance against the Pelicans that you just match up with so much better? Or would you rather go against the Lakers, who have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell? I mean, list goes on and on of just ways to beat you. And look, if Denver could still win this game, right? They are not anywhere close to the same type of team as when they have the Joker. But still, the Lakers, they are terrifying. And however you feel, if you're somebody that's watching this and you're not a fan of Lakers and you're a fan of the other team, there is a part of you right now that is going, F the Lakers suck, blah, 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 blah. But if you really just remove your sadness, you look at this Lakers team and you go, yeah, I wouldn't want my team to play them. If I'm Denver, I do not want to play the Lakers in the first round. If I am the Grizzlies or the Kings or anybody, I do not want to play the Lakers in the first round, because this is a team that legitimately can beat you. If they are healthy and they are 100%, which they look to be right now, I just don't see any of these teams beating them in a 7-game series. Does that mean that they can't? Of course they can. Of course, Lakers might, who knows? There's still a lot of questions when it comes to the playoffs. They have moments where they look brilliant. They have moments where they look like they are the best team this year, hands down, far and away. Then they have moments where they look like, they're a team still trying to figure it out, that's trying to build chemistry, that's just lacking in some areas. But we've only had 4 games with this team fully healthy. I should mention that they are 4-0 in those games. And some people might look at that and go, oh, it's only 4 games. Yeah, it's 4 games in which they have no chemistry, haven't gotten a chance to really figure it out and play together, have played some really good teams in really hot moments on the road, Warriors, Pelicans, the Bulls, I know some people look at the Bulls and go, "Oh, the Bulls are trash." Blah blah blah. They're the 10th seed, but they had won like 7 of their last 10 and like 8 of their last 11 before this Lakers game, right? Like these aren't just like some throwaway wins. It wasn't like against the Pistons, the Spurs, the Rockets. Like no, I mean you're talking teams actually fighting and giving 100% to try to win for seeding and positioning and all of that stuff, right? The Lakers control their own destiny. I think if the Lakers beat the Timberwolves, I think they go at least 6-1. Because if they beat the Timberwolves, then you got the Rockets and the Jazz. The Jazz have packed it in. The Jazz are done. They've called it quits this year. So there's 4-game winning streak. The only game after the Timberwolves that really should give you a challenge are the Suns and the Clippers. But if the Suns have it locked up, you might not have to worry about that. Although the Clippers and the Suns do both seem to be fighting for that position, the 4 and 5 spot. But regardless, I think that Clippers have a tougher schedule and the Warriors have an easier schedule. So the Suns might have the 4 seed locked up. And then we'll see what happens, right? I think you at least split between the Clippers and the Suns. So if that happens and you split between the Clippers and the Suns, that should give you 6 wins, assuming you beat the Timberwolves. Now, if you win all 7, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that the Lakers are the 6th seed. I think that that's what it's going to take. Because if they win their next 6, right, which would put them on a 7-game win streak, that would put them at 44 wins. That 6th seed, the Warriors have to win essentially at least 4 games to tie, but we have the tiebreaker, right? So as long as we finish with the same record as the Warriors, then we would get the tiebreaker. So whatever that is. Now, if they're assuming again we beat the Timberwolves, as long as we finish the same record. So when you look at the Warriors, they have the Spurs, then they have the Nuggets, the Thunder, the Kings, and the Blazers. You got to get 2 losses out of that to for the Lakers to undoubtedly have a real shot at that. So let's say the Nuggets, right? Let's say the Nuggets win that game, because that's their game on April 2nd. That's this Sunday. So they probably play the Joker that game. And it's in Denver. So Warriors haven't been great on the road. So there's 1 win. And then you need either the Thunder, the Kings, or the Blazers, who the Blazers and the Spurs aren't beating them. Thunder maybe, because Thunder really need and are trying to stay competitive. But realistically, the Warriors probably win 5 games, which if that does happen, then I think they're in trouble. But that might also move them into the 5 spot. And then if that's the case, that means the Clippers we would be hanging on to and hoping that they lose more than 2 games, right? Because that's the only thing. Like the Clippers can only win 2 more games, but they have a tough schedule. My point is that the Lakers have to basically go undefeated if they want to get into that 6th spot. Can they? Absolutely. Will they? I don't know. We'll see. But regardless, if they get into the playoffs, one of the Denver Nuggets and the Memphis Grizzlies are going to have to play the Lakers. Or I guess maybe the Sacramento Kings, but realistically it's going to be one of the Grizzlies or the Nuggets. One of those 2 teams are going to be matched up with the Lakers in the first round. You think any of those teams want to play that? You think either of those teams want to play the Lakers in the first round? Look, Ja Morant can run around and say whatever he wants about how, he's not worried about the West and blah, 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 blah. They haven't had a very good record against the better teams in the West. And yes, the Lakers, you look at the record and you go, but then you take into account that this team started 2-10, had like 0 health all season, had an entire roster rehaul, and they're at 500, about to go into this Memphis game or this Minnesota game, in which if they win that, there'll be a game over 500 with a slate of relatively easy games. They have 3 out of their last 5 with easy games. So they're probably getting to 42, 43 wins at worst. And they're probably going to get into the playoffs. And if they're in the playoffs and they're healthy, you got to go up against LeBron James and Anthony Davis, 2 top 10 guys, a team with depth, with talent, with shooting, with everything. Everything. And you're also going to have to go up against LeBron in a 7-game series where he's just going to be picking you apart. You know, say whatever you want about Darvin Ham. You know, like people love or hate Darvin Ham. That's fine. But you have to go against LeBron James in a 7-game series. You don't think LeBron James is going to be sitting there figuring you out the entire time? Of course he is. And now the Lakers have like a legit third guy, right? Because that was the big thing. Like, who's going to be the Lakers' third guy? Tried to do it with Russ, and that didn't work. Schroeder a couple years ago tried to do it by committee. All that. No, now you got a legit guy that can go get you 15 to 30 a night. We've seen him do it on multiple occasions with the Lakers. I mean, this Lakers team is no joke. No joke. And look, maybe it really is just teams, trying to just pack it in for a game or so because they have comfortability. Maybe Joker's really hurt, and they're just precautionary. I mean, look, there is absolutely that possibility. And we are getting towards the end of the season where teams are, kind of making their adjustments. But teams are also making their adjustments based on seeding. Teams are absolutely looking and going, do we really want to play this team in the first round? And look, the Lakers probably get there regardless. I mean, the beauty is the Lakers have the tiebreaker over the teams behind them. So that's good. They have the tiebreaker over the Thunder and the Pelicans. So if the Lakers finish with the same record as those two teams, they still would be in the 7th or 8th seed. But what it does do is, if you're the Nuggets, you're hoping that the Pelicans beat you, then the Lakers lose to the Timberwolves, and now the Pelicans have a full game ahead. Right? That's the hope. And then it's like, okay, Pelicans, and then the next team picks up. Again, not saying that teams are absolutely doing this. It's just really suspicious, right? Really suspicious. Like it's just odd to me that this would be something that these teams would be doing. Also are the Grizzlies, right? The Grizzlies all of a sudden are sitting people and stuff. Are the Grizzlies trying to avoid the Lakers in the first round? Right? It'd be funny if you had like Denver trying to keep the Lakers out of the playoffs and the Grizzlies are trying to just not be the 2 seed. Right? Everybody's just trying to figure it out together. I don't know. But again, maybe I'm looking too much into it. I just think it's funny. It's just something worth talking about. It's just a fun video, fun conversation. Because it's just been the last couple days. It just seems like teams are definitely making some strategic moves, it feels like. Really does. And I don't think any team wants to see the Lakers. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think teams are really strategically trying to, throw games, I guess, to avoid the Lakers? Or do you think it's just all part of the flow? Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comment section.